Alright guys, let's give section 3 a go. Plants convert solar energy. Pigments and photosystems. Chemicals that absorb certain wavelengths of light are called pigments. Wavelengths that are not absorbed by pigments are reflected or transmitted. So the color that you see is the color that is being reflected, that is not being absorbed. So I have a yellow chair in my living room. It is absorbing every color of the visible light spectrum except yellow. Yellow is reflected back, and that is why my eyes see the yellow chair. Absorption spectrum. Pigments found in chlorophyll absorb various portions of visible light. An absorption spectrum is a graph showing relative absorption of the various colors of the rainbow. Chlorophyll is green because it absorbs much of the reds and blues of white light and reflects green. Carotenoids are accessory pigments which absorb light in the violet, blue, green range and reflect yellow and orange. So here we have an absorption spectrum and the electromagnetic spectrum over here with visible light extended out. This is the range of visible light here, and these lines show the amount of energy that can be absorbed by these different pigments. So chlorophyll A absorbs these colors very well, so some violet into blue, and then down here the orange to red. Carotenoids absorb the purple, blue, green, and chlorophyll B absorbs some oranges and some purpley, blue, greenish colors. Plants convert solar energy. The light reactions consist of two alternate electron pathways, the non-cyclic pathway and the cyclic pathway. Light reactions capture light energy with photosystems. There are two. They are named 1 and 2. A photosystem is a pigment complex that helps collect solar energy like an antenna. Photosystems are located in the thylakoid membranes. If you need to, reference back to the diagram of the chloroplast on the earlier slides to remind yourself what the thylakoids look like. Both the cyclic and non-cyclic pathways produce ATP. The non-cyclic pathway also produces NADPH. So let's talk about the non-cyclic pathway. It takes place in the thylakoid membrane, and it uses two photosystems, abbreviated PS. There is photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Photosystem 2 captures light energy. The non-cyclic pathway begins with photosystem 2. It's named photosystem 2 because scientists discovered it second. It causes an electron to be ejected from the reaction center, which is the chlorophyll A, and that electron travels down the electron transport train to photosystem 1. It replaced an electron from water, which split it to form oxygen gas and hydrogen ions. And this causes the hydrogen ions to accumulate inside the thylakoid. Right, the O2 is ejected because the plant doesn't need it. The H2 gradient is used to produce ATP. So the hydrogen ions go from high concentration to low, and that helps make ATP. Photosystem 1 captures light energy and ejects an electron. The electron is transferred permanently to a molecule of NADP, and it causes the production of NADPH. Here is the non-cyclic pathway. So we have our solar energy coming in. It hits the thylakoid where the chlorophyll is. It splits a water molecule, and we get rid of the oxygen gas, and the hydrogen ions are then used to make NADPH and ATP. So here we have another diagram. We have the sun exciting some electrons when they hit the photosystem, which causes the water molecule to split. And that energy travels through the electron transport chain, making ATP, which then goes to photosystem 1. It gets struck by more sunlight. Those electrons are excited. They are then used to make NADP plus into NADPH. So that hydrogen permanently joins with the NADP to make NADPH. Moving on, plants convert solar energy. Photosystem 2 consists of a pigment complex and electron acceptors. So pigment complex, so basically something that's going to absorb sunlight, and electron acceptors. They are proteins that will take electrons. They receive electrons by splitting water, and oxygen gas is released. The electron transport chain is involved. It consists of a cytochrome complex and plastoquinone. These carry electrons between photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. They also pump hydrogen ions from the stroma into the thylakoid space. Photosystem 1 has a pigment complex and electron acceptors adjacent to the enzyme that reduces NADP to NADPH. All right, adjacent, remember, means next to. And it has ATP synthase. It ends in ASE, so you know that is an enzyme. And it has a channel for hydrogen ions to flow through. And that hydrogen ion flow through the ATP synthase channel drives ATP synthase to join ADP and a phosphate to each other to make ATP. So here we have the organization of the thylakoid. So here we have our membrane. All right, here we have photosystem 2 and our electron transport chain, where the excited electrons move through. They get excited in photosystem 2. They move down the electron transport chain, releasing little bits of their energy until they get to photosystem 1, where they are once again excited. And they go through some more transformations, and eventually they help join a hydrogen ion to NADP to form NADPH. Right? Also, those hydrogen ions will move through ATP synthase, and the energy used there, the energy transferred from that, bonds a phosphate to ADP to make ATP. Plants as solar energy converters, the thylakoid space, act as a reservoir for hydrogen ions, so it just holds on to the extras until they can be used. Each time water is oxidized, 2 hydrogen ions remain inside that thylakoid space. The transfer of electrons in the electron transport chain yields energy. This energy is used to pump the hydrogen ions across the thylakoid membrane, and the protons move from the stroma into the thylakoid space. The flow of hydrogen ions back across that thylakoid membrane energizes the ATP synthase. ATP synthase enzymatically produces ATP from ADP plus P. This method of producing ATP is called chemoosmosis because ATP production is tied to the establishment of a hydrogen ion gradient. Tropical rainforest destruction and climate change. Tropical rainforest exists where the temperature is above 26 degrees Celsius, so very hot. Rainfall is very heavy, 100 to 200 centimeters per year, and it's very, very regular. Most tropical rainforest plants are woody, meaning they have a trunk that is responsible for transporting water to the leaves. It has many vines and eophytes, and very little or no undergrowth because they just don't get enough sunlight. And that sunlight is important for them to do photosynthesis. Tropical rainforests contribute greatly to carbon dioxide uptake, which slows global warming. Development, however, has reduced them from about 15% of Earth's surface down to about 5% of Earth's surface. Deforestation accounts for 20 to 30% of atmospheric carbon dioxide, but also removes a carbon dioxide sink, so a place to store that carbon dioxide. The burning of fossil fuels also adds carbon dioxide to the air, which increases temperatures and also reduces productivity. Here we have a diagram that shows global surface warming over the years. All right, this is a little bit old because we're somewhere around here, all right, with 2020. And so you can see that global temperatures keep going up and up and up and up and up. All right, so we are in an upward trend.